because when I was here, like, my name is Diamante. So, y'all can call me Diamante.
Okay, so before we introduce Diamante, we're going to introduce Sid. How you doing, Sid? Listen to her show, The Kickback Sessions, on Dash Radio every Tuesday night from 7 to 9 p.m.
Okay, and I'm so excited to announce our very own Saweetie, but you can call her Diamante. Thank you so much for coming. When we found out that you were coming to BSA, we were so excited. We love your music. We love you. We're going to get into her bio as well. By senior year, she emerged as MVP of the conference in volleyball at her school's in her school's Female Athlete of the Year. That diligence and commitment eventually extended to her songwriting. Sports and music go hand in hand, she continues. In order to be successful at both, you have to be disciplined. I drew on that. Following her graduation from University of Southern California, she started to regularly upload car rap videos to social media. In between grinding at day jobs, she serendipitously caught the attention of current manager Max Goose, Beyonce YG, and Ty Dolla $ign's known for. While attending a Puma event in downtown Los Angeles, Goose said, "Saweetie is the best discovery of my career. She has all the tools to be one of the greatest entertainers of her generation. Her focus, talent, and work ethic are unparalleled. She's a total package." Almost immediately after, she hit the studios to record her breathtaking smash, Icy Girl. Within 6 months, Icy Girl ignited over 31 million cumulative Spotify streams between the original and Kehlani featuring mix, as well as 50 million YouTube views and a gold certification from the RIAA. Signing her label Icy to a partnership between Artistry Records and Warner Brothers Records, the single downright froze the game and paved the way for the major label debut EP, High Maintenance. Icy Girl is literally about who I wanted to be, she admits. I wasn't happy at the time. I was trying to put in the works to make my dream real. She most definitely did. High Maintenance yielded a string of bangers. From the hyped-up send-off of BAN to the emotional nostalgia of Good Good, the EP hinges on her lyrical acrobatics, clever wordplay, sharp ad-libs, and undeniable predilection for hooks. High Maintenance has a deeper meaning, she elaborates. Maintaining that standard that becomes a tastemaker favorite, touted by everyone from Billboard and Fader to Noisy and Los Angeles Times, who proclaimed her one to watch this year. As a businesswoman, she teamed up with Sprayground, Reebok, and Honey Bum for high-profile partnerships. As a fashionista, Next Model signed her for modeling, and she graced the cover of Wonderland in addition to appearing in CR Fashion Notion and V-Files. Meanwhile, everyone from David Guetta to Dua Lipa has enlisted her for guest spots. Assembling an anxiously awaited full-length debut for release in November 2018 and launching a full-scale headline tour, Saweetie has only just begun to tell the kinds of stories classic rap relies on. That's what you're talking about.
Hello, they was like, oh, you're from Northern California. I'm thinking everybody says hello, but I guess that's it's a big thing. It's a big thing. I didn't know that. So like, I don't know. I think just like my vibe and the way I talk sometimes. That's what I've been told. But yes, I went to school in high school in Sacramento. I went to San Diego State first. And I transferred to USC after that and graduated in 2016.
When did you realize you could be a professional rapper?
Honestly, I didn't realize that at all, and I had very low self-esteem. I didn't know what was going on because, like, there's no job interviews. There's no like way to become an artist. You literally just gotta do it on your own, and if you get discovered, you get discovered, which I'm so thankful for. But one thing I wish I would have changed is I love Annenberg, but I wish I would have been more confident to, really invest in myself and took like a major that had to do with like music and business. I'm very fortunate to have a manager who teaches me these things, but I think I would just have a better skill set in the music side of business if I would have majored in business. Music. But I wasn't confident enough to take that risk.
That's interesting. But growing up, you knew you always wanted to do music.
Yeah.
Was there a backup plan?
My backup, I wouldn't call it a backup plan because school is very important. And it taught me a lot of invaluable skills, like, responsibility, dealing with people you wouldn't have normally dealt with, dealing with people you don't like, how to do group projects and really just become a better person business-wise. My major was communication, so obviously like enhancing my communication skills. But yeah, I feel like I wouldn't want to call college a backup plan, but I'm glad I did it because God forbid, if music didn't work out,
You got a degree.
I got a degree.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
When did you start writing?
I started writing when I was 14 years old.
How was that? Were you trash then? Were you amazing then? When did you realize like you had that?
I was creative, but I wouldn't say I was trash.
he was always good at writing. You were always good at writing.
You know, like my dad was like the first person who heard me rap, and he was like, "Oh, I know what you're talking about, but you're boring." I was like, "What?" Like he keeps it so like
black and white.
Like black and white and raw with me.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm a very chill person. So sometimes I can come across that way, but I just really be chilling. So I had to like work on like my energy, my delivery. So I was alright.
So you started doing car raps.
Mm-hmm.
How'd you get the idea for that?
Well, I didn't have the resources for. Do I have any musicians in here?
Hey.
Hey. So if you're a musician, you know, having a good engineer, having, you know, a good place to record, it costs money, and I didn't have no money. So I was like, someone's gonna hear what I'm talking about, someone's gonna discover me, which is why I went to social media, would post my videos on Twitter and Instagram. Some of them went viral, and people started to, you know, notice me and respect my craft.
What was your favorite one you've done?
Oh my gosh. My favorite one, I think, my favorite car rap would have to be, I rapped over Dead Presidents.
Mm-hmm.
And if you guys may have not seen that video yet, I was just really like fed up, I was broke. And when you're in LA, you're given opportunity by weird people to do weird things. And I remember I was so broke, and I remember like I was out like at a party, and this guy had offered me some money to come do some things, and I was like, I'm so broke.
Like the consideration, like maybe.
Yeah, and I'm just not. But I was like, that's not who I am, and because this industry will like get to you, and I'm around people 24/7. Like my life is no longer private, and that's a lot of energy. That's a lot of like people telling you about yourself, good things, bad things, criticism, constructive criticism, and it could really like I had like a breakdown because I was saying yes to everything. I was like, okay, I gotta be booked and busy, but booked and busy,
human too.
yeah, but booked and busy with no sleep, you're gonna crash. And I crashed before like this really big appearance of mine, and it just taught me that you can't say yes to everything, and to really just value your time. You can't spend time with everybody just because somebody might say they can, you know, it's an exchange business at the same time, you're building relationships, but sometimes you gotta take time for yourself. If you don't have the energy and if you're not shining, like there's no point in you being in a room with other people.
How do you strike a balance in between your private?
I get anxiety if I post too much. Like, I'm serious. Sometimes I feel like it's too much. So that's why I pulled back a little bit. But I take it day by day. Because, I mean, sometimes I do have to post. Sometimes I do have to promote. It's a part of, like, of what being an artist is today. And I feel like, dang, I wish I was, like, back in the day. Because, like, they didn't have to worry about, like, you know, social media and stuff like that. But as an artist of today, you're required to, you know, interact with your fans and your supporters, which I love to do because y'all and the rest of the world don't gotta support me. But with all this, you know, support and positivity and people like really believing in my brand, I'm here. So it's important that I don't cut off social media.
This has to be a healthy balance.
It has to be a healthy balance. Yeah, it's definitely gotta be that.
What's been your proudest moment so far?
So, you know,
For you and for your mama.
So I'm from the Bay, and I was brought out at the Drake and Migos show, and to hear like the whole arena go crazy, and to be singing Icy Girl, and like they erupted.
No, it's crazy. It's
so
crazy.
it was such a great like moment for me. Like I felt like I was accepted. I mean, I shouldn't be worried about being accepted, but you know, when people like mess with your music, like there's no better feeling than people supporting and believing in your craft.
True. What's been the biggest lesson you learned so far?
My biggest lesson is to not say yes to everything. like I said, mentioned before, people brag about being booked and busy, team no sleep, but we're humans, we're not robots. So you gotta sleep and you gotta take time for yourself to, you know, recharge. Because if you don't, you're gonna crash, you don't get an attitude, and I get an attitude and I'm cranky and I'm like hungry, and you can't be treating your body like it's a robot.
For sure. What about the music industry do you wish you knew before entering it that you don't know?
My office is sometimes a club, you know, and I'm meeting producers, I'm meeting other artists, I'm meeting people who can help, you know, further me in the industry. So, like,
I feel you.
it's just, it may seem fun from the outside, but in reality, a lot of us, like, as artists, we just working.
So when you want to actually have fun, what's your ideal weekend look like? Friday to Sunday.
I like to sleep.
You sleeping Friday to Sunday? Friday to Sunday?
No, not Friday to Sunday. I like to sleep, I like to eat, and I like to watch Netflix.
What shows?
So I love Insecure. I love, it's not gonna be out for a minute, but y'all, when I found out about Game of Thrones, like,
I couldn't get into that show at all.
Really?
It's too much.
It's a little graphic in the beginning, but if you get past that, it's like so addicting.
Word. So coming soon, new music. Do you have any singles coming up?
Yes, I have a song coming out at the end of the month. It's called Pissed. I'm actually posting the cover art tonight. So, like, people tell you not to read the comments, but I like reading the comments because I like liking it. I like responding back to people who support me, but when they like people will write paragraphs about like negativity, about things that they don't know about. Like, so that's what I had to do, and it's just like if I didn't believe in myself, who else is gonna believe in me? Nobody. And at the end of the day, like, not to be sentimental, and like you hear this all the time, but we've only got one life to live, so why not go hard for yourself? So it took a lot of like solitude and me being in solitude and me just figuring out like who I am as a woman, as a human being, and really identifying my strengths and just building on that. Cause like there's lots of pretty girls in the world. There's a lot of girls that look like me. There's a lot of girls who have education, a lot of girls who are smart, but there's nobody who is me. So I really had to just be proud of who I am and not let, you know, like things like, you know, me being cute, like try to carry me, like focusing and really like perfecting my craft. So I just want to say, like, especially like when you're in college, you're still figuring out who you are, and it can be difficult.
Super difficult. I was just about to ask you, what advice would you give to the students in the audience?
So my advice would be just to spend a lot of time with yourself, because knowing who you are is gonna like, it creates and it sets that foundation. You know, like what you deserve, what you're worth. It sounds so sentimental.
It's not though. It's facts though.
No, it is facts.
You need that support system.
No, but I think that you should spend a lot of time with yourself. I think you should identify who your real friends are, because sometimes people, they don't have your best interests. And I feel like when you have a support system and when you support yourself, I feel like it creates a great it's great ingredients for, you know, success.
How did you find a support system at school?
So I only had like 2 friends.
Sometimes I feel like that's the better way to live, though.
I'm not sure if you guys know who Sabrina and Brittany are, and Asia. Brittany and Sabrina were in the business school, and me and Asia were in communication. But it's a great question, but I feel like success, fame, and money like really shows you it brings out who you really are. And I feel like being humble can't be taught. So if you humble, you're just a humble person. And if you're not, then I feel like that money, that greed, and all the other things that come with fame and success will expose you. But I mean, I don't know. Like I realize I'm a human being. Me being at the bottom just humbled me. Like, you could have nothing. Like, you feel me? Like I had nothing. So I think just me being able to identify with different people, because I was placed at different, the things that happened to me humbled me. and I know that I was once somewhere before, and everybody gotta start from somewhere. So I don't ever like think I'm better than nobody else. Cause I feel like I'm a sick human being, and I'm from the Bay. We down to earth.
True. Any more questions in the audience? Up here.
So I'm a music major, and I was wondering, like, what's the best business advice you got as artists?
My best as an artist, one thing that I like to do is I like to review my contracts with my lawyer. I like to go into his office. Okay, so this is one thing. I'm gonna take that back before I get into that. I think relationships are important, and I feel like meeting people and seeing them seeing that you're a real person and actually care about the business creates relationships. Because, for example, like influencers today, like they'll put their name on something that they don't even like have no knowledge about, but they're just trying to get paid. That ends up showing up. And if you don't really care about what you're promoting, what you're advertising, like the people who you're doing business with is gonna see that, and they're not gonna want to do any business with you anymore because you're only in it for the money. Yeah, the money's good, but you need to create relationships and build bonds with people who can eventually, like, y'all can benefit from each other. But going on to what I was saying before is, I like to, I built a relationship with my lawyer. I go in, I review my contracts. I know everything that's going on, so that nothing's a surprise for me. So that's two things that I would tell you.
Super important.
Because you're sweetie and the people around you are so
Diamante.
either one. Like, but as a friend, like, people are oftentimes paid to be around you. So how do you know when someone's giving you like real advice or has your best interests at heart?
Fortunately for me, like, even Sydney be working with us sometimes. I mean, we're probably gonna like get her after she's completely done because she's, studying all that. But I know, like, you can just like sense it. If someone's passionate about your brand and they really believe in you, you can feel it. Like, unfortunately, I haven't experienced anybody who's just in it for the coin. Like, my team believes in me. They feel like family, and they all have my best interests.
Icy Girl, why in the building up here? Any more questions?
Alright, I'm Ari, also known as Buzz Down Ari. I'm from the Bay too. Where the Bay from?
Hayward.
Okay, I'm from Castro Valley. Alright, where I rap too. I'm pre-law. I'm political science here. I transferred. I'm 20, but I'm a senior.
So you're still using your words.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out though, like, as a rapper, because I just got passionate about rapping stuff and discovering myself in college, like you said. How do you like get over writer's block? Like, I'll be writing, putting the pen to the paper and all of that, but like, damn, like sometimes it take a week for it to come to me for like a bar. I'd be like, damn, that's the bar right there. It came up in conversation.
Honestly, like, my best bars have been for me driving. Like, honestly, driving. I'm like, oh yeah, that's what I gotta say. But honestly, like, when you get writer's block, the best thing that I do, I don't like to call it writer's block, because, like, I feel like what you say is what's gonna happen. So I don't call it writer's block. I feel like I just can't write right now. So what I like to do is I like to just, even though I might be like so passionate about a beat, I'm gonna come back to this. I might like call with my homegirls. I might read. I might go work out. I might do something else that doesn't like have to do with writing, just so that my brain can just get back to thinking about something else. Then when I come back to it, like, the energy is flowing again. Have you ever tried that?
Yeah.
And it still don't work?
I'm from Castro Valley. Can I rap for you? Okay, for sure. You already know what's going on.
That's my best friend.
Period.
Let's go.
I'm a sneak ass nigga, so don't play me. I just get dropped off on that day. Yo, the list that you ain't me. Get off my dick, little hoe. Grace. Just took a ride downtown with some cases. Getting blown out my mind, it gets hazy. But you was there from the start, acting crazy. My mind. Monkey Ari, all one word, A-R-R-I. I have not dropped yet, but I'm serious about this shit. Sweetie.
No,
Text me your ass.
All of that, all of that.
I got you.
All of that.
no, so one thing I really admire about you that I lacked is your energy.
Man,
Like,
I had to find myself, like,
serious. No, like, no, I feel like that's a great start, and I wouldn't just like hold you like that. But that energy is everything. You remind me of like D-Love.
for sure.
Like your Kurt vibe. Like that.
Any more questions? Up here, tie-dye.
Hi, I'm Kennedy. First, I want to just commend you for being an educated, female rapper. You're obviously being humble, but you're not just that. You're doing stuff. I just love that about you. And this might be kind of overlapping with some of the questions you got. But do you have any advice for just on the day-to-day things you did or that you currently do to kind of keep reaching your goals and keep pushing your career?
What I like to do is take things day by day. So I don't necessarily look at my whole schedule. I like to just see it because sometimes, oh my gosh, especially when I'm in New York, they will book.
I'm getting busy.
No, they will book my schedule from 6 a.m. to 2 a.m. It's just this is a very simple answer, but I think, like I said, sleeping, eating when you're supposed to be eating, and really just, do y'all know who Gary Vee is?
Yup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So one thing that Gary Vee has taught me is to live in that moment. Don't think about what else is going on, but if you walk into an interview, to a photo shoot, really just focus in on that moment and give it your 100%. And I feel like if you keep just restarting that mind process, it'll help you. Because I'll catch an attitude real quick if I'm A or if I'm tired, and it's just you only have one impression to meet these people that you're meeting, and these people who are taking time out of their day to work with you. So I feel just recharging and just living in that moment and giving it your 100%. I feel that solves all my problems. It just puts me in that mentality to just knock all this out, and then by the last one, I'm out, and I'm in my hotel room, and I'm out.
Next one.
I was about to say that.
My name is Daryl. Would you say that being positive plays a big part in becoming who you are or who you are? Being positive.
Being positive
plays a part in.
I definitely feel being positive, as simple as it may sound, is important because there's plenty of times where you want to go off on people. There's plenty of times where you feel speaking your mind, but at the end of the day, when you, especially me, everything revolves around me because I'm the artist, and if I'm giving that energy off to my team, it just makes everybody's day bad. So I feel taking time out, talking to yourself in the mirror, cussing yourself out in the closet, or whatever you gotta do. Whatever you gotta do to get that negativity out, do that because that's important to release it. But then when it's time to move on, I feel communicating in a very positive manner is effective, because you ever said something, you be saying, why I say that? And now you gotta apologize, and now you feel stupid, because it may have not even been that serious. You may have just been hungry, and somebody just rubbed you the wrong way. So I feel it's important to be positive because it affects your team, and your team is the people who is helping you. Whether it be your friends, your professors, but just taking a step back, talking shit to yourself, and then coming back to what you gotta talk about.
Stand up.
Hey girl.
The yellow.
My name is Justice, and I'm so hyped that you're here right now. I was flipping out last night, so thank you for being here. And I just want to know, if you have any plans to venture into different areas like makeup, fashion, nonprofits, or whatnot. What can we expect from you, 10 years down the road?
Okay, girl. As far as nonprofit, I partnered with Scholarship for Kicks, and we actually gave 3 girls from Sacramento scholarships going to college this year. But I eventually want to start my own foundation. I don't want to say what it is yet because I really love the name. I don't need nobody trying to take it. But I definitely see myself see myself giving back to, especially like women of color who come from like low income communities, because nobody told me about college. Like, I wish I was better prepared for it, and I feel like if we give, you know, if we educate these young women, I feel like they'll be more enthusiastic about going to the college they're supposed to go to. Because the reason why I went to San Diego State is because I wasn't gonna go to college. And I missed the deadline for USC, and I literally applied the night before all the Cal State admissions was due, and got into San Diego State. Thank God. And I don't know what I'd be doing. But I didn't know what college was about, and I feel like if I would have known, I would have been more enthusiastic, and I would have taken it more serious. I mean, I took it serious, but I wasn't like, I wish I would have got more out of it. And as far as me venturing out, I'm gonna start getting into acting. And then I love lip gloss, so I'm gonna start lip gloss now.
We have 2 more questions.
Hey, my name is Amir. Thank you for coming. I'm an artist as well. I study pop music here, and one thing that I really have admired about you is that I think I saw in one of your interviews you were talking about how you wrote Icy Girl and how you were in like a different space during that time. How, like, personally, so like my first single that I just released is, I wrote it when I was cleaning toilets at Starbucks, and I wrote about this lavish lifestyle that I wanted as well. So I'm wondering, how do you balance this authenticity with speaking things in existence, and like how does that affect your overall mental health and like your journey as an artist?
Dang, I don't know if she's still here. Has any of y'all took the class from Paula Pat? Not Paula Pat. No, it's Paula. She has the business and communications.
Yeah, we're in that class right now, but it's a different teacher now.
Really? She's not here right now?
Yeah, it's Lauren Medina, teaches business and communications.
Oh, okay. So like, I have this professor, and the last day of class we had meetings, and she knew what I wanted to be, and the best thing she told me was fake it till you make it. Like, and I hate that because I don't like thinking about me being fake, but what I took out of it was speak things into existence, and I did that with Icy Girl. Like, I was bragging, but I was also being real with myself, and I said, looking in the mirror, I think that's what I'm about to be. So I feel like if you balance it out with like real stuff and things you wish to attain, I feel like that's a happy balance, because you're not really faking it, but you're kind of speaking into existence while still being real. So I feel like you gotta talk that fly shit sometimes. What's that shit? It's been happening. And I feel like she just whispered to me that you're talented.
So talented.
So
Super talented.
When you're talented, like talent, talent and hard work, it just can't go unnoticed. And that's one thing I kept telling myself when I was trying to figure out what I was doing. I was like, I'm gonna keep posting these videos, and one day somebody gonna see it. They don't have to see it, and somebody did. So I would just, balance it out and just keep working hard.
We got one last one.
Me?
Yes, you do.
Okay, so I'm Anaya.
Okay, best friend.
So I feel like you talk a lot about like being bossed up and stuff like that, and knowing your worth, especially with men and stuff like that. And so like,
Girl, you did too.
like, do you have tips? Because when I need inspiration, I go to like female influencers, like pages that I'm like, okay, they're on their stuff, like they know their worth, they're bossed up. Do you have any tips on like how to like further develop that, and just always to know your worth and how to be bossed up as a woman, Black woman in this?
So just like self-confidence, like I've realized my worth after someone treated me like shit. So I feel like the way I learned is by being in situations that I don't agree with. And I'm trying to figure out the right words to say, but there's just certain things what's right and what's wrong. Sometimes we
Trust
stay,
your gut.
sometimes we stay in wrong situations for the wrong reasons. But that's real. That's real. That's real. That's real. No, that's real. Like I was young and. But I feel like spending time with yourself, knowing what you like and knowing what you deserve. I feel like it's kind of like common sense. Like you know what's wrong. You feel it in your good. Sometimes you keep going along with it because it feels right even though it's wrong. But just to answer your question, I feel like me having mentors, me talking to other women, I feel like keeping it to yourself sometimes isn't a good idea because when you talk to other people who went through what you went through, they can tell you what's right and what's wrong. Because sometimes you don't realize what's going on because you're so in love. But I like to go to other women too, and I like to look at their pages for like, you know, just some inspiration and just to get me back in my bag. Listening to other females rap and talk about being bossed up and all that good stuff. But like, so for example, like when I was in my situation, I thought about like bossed up me. And I'm thinking, is bossed up you gonna take this shit? Hell nah. So like, I would like ask myself questions, or I would look at myself as if I'm my sister, as if I'm my friend, as if, you know, I'm my daughter. I don't have a daughter. But like, you know, when you in it, you don't realize what's going on. But if you like if you step outside the box and you're like, if my friend was being treated this way, would I like him? Would I support this? I feel like it puts things into perspective that way. Does that help? Yeah. Okay. Sometimes I'd be like, just.
No, that was it. That was it.
Okay. Super real.
Well, that's all the.
Everybody want to say thank you?
Thank you. It feels so weird because it feels like I'm home and I didn't get to talk to everybody. So I just, thank you for having me. What classes are y'all in? Like, who's a freshman? I'm a freshman. Who's a sophomore? You're a junior. Who's a senior?
I guess that's a wrap.